All right. Week 5. The season is almost a quarter of the way done. It's not mathematical anymore. It's 17 games, not 16. That's still going to be hard for me to get used to. Welcome to another Pro Football Doc Sports Injury Central podcast. We've got the team here. Jacob's here. Taylor's here. Justin, I'm sure, will pop in whenever he feels like it. Week 4 not completely done. Still Rams and 49ers tonight. And we can hit on that a little bit at some point in time. But otherwise, week 5, on to week 5.
I want some bye weeks already, Doc. I'm tired of this 9 games in the morning. It's ridiculous.
Well, 9 games in the morning, and for us, West Coast, 6:30 a.m. game.
Yep.
So 6:30 a.m., 9 games at 10, 3 games at 1/1:30, and then a 5:15 game into the night. So that is a lot of football. I'm not complaining, but yeah, I'm all for look, I'm fine if you want a game at 6:30. How about 2 at 6:30, 6 at 10, and then 4 at the other window, something.
I'll take a 6:30.
Just give us a fighting chance. I mean, with 9 games, someone's leaving every 2 minutes, and we got to backtrack in the afternoon. So it's tough to cover from a war room standpoint. I mean, we got 8 guys in here, sometimes 9 or 10, but it's still a lot.
Well, for me, the thing is that, we're in here in the command center watching games and stuff, primarily for injuries. What I don't like is, for example, I don't really know how good or bad the Cardinals are. I haven't really gotten to watch them much this year for whatever reason, just based on what happens with injuries and what have you. I couldn't tell you what their record is this season because we're so much into the weeds on injuries, but don't get the bigger picture. But no one cares about our whining. The NFL will continue to go
do what
on.
they want. Yep.
So let's start with Lewis Sign. That was an early morning. Look, that ankle basically explodes. Graphic video. Of course, everyone's going to say turf, 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 turf. Now, what's interesting is the Premier League club in that stadium plays on grass, and everything else is on the turf, which is interesting.
Yep. They wheeled out the grass to put in the turf just for the football game.
It's interesting. Now, obviously, with Sterling Shepard and MetLife, everyone's talking turf, turf, turf. No question, the current turf is better than the old AstroTurf. But there's also no question in terms of ACLs and major traumatic injuries, major high ankles, things like that. Grass is better. But where grass isn't good is footing and slipping for like hamstring strains or groin strains and other things.
I had a question about that, Doc, too. The Premier League specifically has no turf fields at all. That's why they specifically have the grass. Is that because they had so much people saying they don't want it, like a lot of players? Like, is the football not fighting hard enough for the grass? Or I know stadiums like the turf because of the events they have, right? It helps them, but
well, there's a couple reasons for the turf. If you're purely going by injuries, there's no question there would be a little bit less.
Right.
It wouldn't be all of a sudden no injuries, right? And we remember in Houston, they had turf and the pallet edge of the grass, they had grass, caused ACL injury on was it Welker or Edelman? I can't believe that I would mix the two up, but I don't remember when. But they got their foot caught in the seam and tore their ACL. So weird things can happen. But statistically, overall, it's one additional significant knee injury a season. And what's interesting is most teams that play on turf practice on grass, right? Because of that. Now, one thing, look, if it's purely just about player safety, it should be grass. But what makes the grass harder is...
It was Welker, by the way, ACL and MCL.
Yeah, Welker. That's what I figured, but I didn't remember for sure. Usage of the stadium. A lot of times, if there is public money involved, there's a requirement to make it public. Look, if you have grass, you're not playing high school and local college, JC, and other games in the field.
You're not wheeling in a concert venue. I mean,
purely on injuries, there is somewhat of a differential yes.
Okay.
But it's not like Lewis signs wouldn't necessarily have happened.
Right.
But as we expected, surgery in London, etc., that could be an open fracture. But we are not expecting Alex Smith. Alex Smith was because infection. And if Alex Smith happens, Lewis Sign's career is over. Alex Smith can't be playing the secondary. It was only because he was a quarterback. I am optimistic that Sign can continue his career next season, but we'll take it, right?
He's a rookie, yeah, so it's unfortunate, first season.
All right, let's get to anyone who has paid attention to football in the last, 6 months can't stop talking about concussions. Two already ruled out for Sunday. I know it's Monday, but he had the questionable one on Sunday. He was allowed back injury. I know they fired the independent unaffiliated neuro consultant, UNC. I know we keep referring to North Carolina, but
a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
So let's do the first one, the most timely one, right before we came on here for the podcast. And we're Monday morning, West Coast time here. Tua officially ruled out. And what did we say when we first met here this morning? I said, Tua's going to get ruled out. It's going to be Teddy Bridgewater. Why do I say that? There just is so much pressure on the situation, right, with Tua. And we said it all weekend. You guys, both of you guys, even though I gave the back reasoning, you guys think he had a concussion on Sunday before the Thursday game.
Right.
The vast majority of the country believes that. The Dolphins still say no.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm open to their explanation. And we'll talk about what that UNC firing means. But if 90%, would you say 90% of the world thinks he had a concussion on Sunday?
Maybe more, but yeah,
Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
Maybe more.
But yeah, no,
Then-
that's a good benchmark.
Then 90% of the world should be screaming that Tua should not play until November. The rule of thumb can be overruled by medicine. But in general, being overly simplistic,
Right.
one concussion, out at least a week, which is why Shaq Leonard's already been ruled out for Thursday's game.
right.
Second concussion in the same season, out for a month. Third in the same season. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if he had 2 in 4 days, see you in November. Now that may be why the early rule out from,
Because they're not really at practice yet. They don't have to report anything.
they don't even have to say it, but why would they rule him out so early?
Because he's talking on the podium today.
I would beat the cycle of news. If you put him out on Wednesday as a limited or something, you're already getting crap for it, right? You got to beat that cycle.
Well, by saying he's out this week, he can avoid Tua questions this week. But can any doctor say he's in or out? Now, if you said for sure this is his second concussion, you can say for sure out. Or perhaps if this morning Tua still had headaches, you could say you want him a week symptom-free and he's still out. But there's still 6/almost 7 days to go before the game,
Right.
yet he's ruled out. So is there something we're missing where this is now determined to be a second concussion? I don't know, right? Is it because he still has headaches? I don't know. Or is this just pressure saying, look, guys, let's not push this or is it Mike McDaniels because he sits next to Tua, he's almost in tears saying, look, if this were my son, I'd want him out, and so I'm just going to rule him out. So those are all possibilities, but I do find this situation interesting. Brian Hoyer ruled out with a concussion. We were sitting here in the command center. Didn't look that bad.
Mm-hmm.
You can't judge concussions by video.
I mean, don't want to go back too far, but T. Higgins took that shot to the jaw against the Jets and came back that same game, played Thursday night also, had a ton of yards, no symptoms. So
right. And if T. Higgins happens this week, he's ruled out because it was last week and the Tua thing hadn't happened. They cleared him and said, you're okay, because that video looked bad.
mm-hmm.
I do want to bring up, obviously, a Raider guy, Hunter Renfrow. He had the concussion on that Cardinals, game-winning touchdown. He's missed 2 weeks now. And he's DNP every single day. They're all limited. So.
And once you miss 2 weeks, you're likely to miss a lot more.
Right.
Okay. And I won't say who, but someone, and this is why we don't ever say bad things about players.
Mm-hmm.
We respect them and their injuries. There was a theory floated that, was he really concussed, or was it about the game-losing fumble where he got hit? And this is why we don't question players and players' toughness. You never know what the truth is, and that game of football is vicious, and I won't do that. I mean, that's why we do Beast of the Week. We're more praising players. I respect the game and how tough the game is. And this is why, the other reason you say, oh, look, the guy's running, he should be fine. He's not close to 100%. The game's not easy.
Right.
And so we respect players in terms of concussions. Tyrod Taylor took a concussion. We'll probably get to that, but who's going to quarterback the Giants across the pond? Think about, you got to understand, and we'll get back to the UNC question, so don't get me too far going here. But Tyrod Taylor is going to have a tough time being cleared. Number one, took a pretty good hit to the temple, immediately ruled out. Number two, and it's 50-50 at best, but in the attention paid now, especially as a quarterback, and he might be in line to start because of Daniel Jones, a scrutiny is such. You don't think in the back of the UNC or the team physician's mind saying, I don't need this. The game isn't worth it.
Just rule them out.
I mean, when in doubt, keep them out.
Yep.
I mean, it's just a lot easier. It's just in the back of their mind. And understand the Giants play in London. So it's not a home game where the regular UNC can examine him on Saturday and clear him to play on Sunday.
It's more complicated.
They will be in London. Does the UNC travel? They travel some UNCs. Is the regular UNC? Look, a guy sight unseen in London might be less likely to clear, and unless he clears early week. So the hurdle is now higher to clear guys. And Tyrod Taylor, if I were a betting man, whatever, I'd say he's not going to get cleared this week just because of the circumstances and whatever. But I won't criticize anyone if he is, if they're examining him. And
well, is it higher or is it back to normal? Because remember you said COVID, they dropped it back a little bit. So maybe we're going back to what it should be, right?
It just seems higher recency bias.
Yeah.
We saw for years, 2 years, COVID. And we saw some, you got jacked hits and we didn't get social media reaction.
Javonte Adams happened.
Yeah, and that kind of was, people talked about it a little bit, but it was a shrug. It just wasn't the number one subject. Now, Tua, let's get back to the UNC being fired. Okay. First of all, the UNC's full-time job has nothing to do with the NFL or sports. They have a neurology or neurosurgery practice.
Clinic, something. Okay.
99% of their income. Look, when I left the NFL, maybe it's risen. The UNC got paid $1,500 for the day to be there for the 3 hours of the game, plus on 4+ hours. Not bad work if you can get it. And there's some fun of sitting on the sideline, but there's pressure. I mean, it's a $1,500 a day gig for a neurosurgeon or a neurologist. That's a fair amount of money for a lot of people, but it's not changing your life. I'm not sure that with all this scrutiny that UNC wanted to even do it again. I mean, Tom Pelissero and Ian Rappaport reported, quote, hostility to the investigation. Like, how many of you sitting in your car listening, or Taylor or Jacob, you guys like it when someone questions your story or your analysis?
I don't like it.
No.
Shocker. Taylor, shocker.
Sensitive.
Taylor, I try not to single Taylor out. I was clearly looking over at him, but
I'll do it myself sometimes.
Jacob's less sensitive. Taylor's sensitive. Like if we
don't ask my girlfriend that though.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a whole nother story. But my point is, we all do to some extent.
Right.
And if you have pride in your craft, if that UNC said, look, I did the right things, why are you questioning me after the fact and taking my extra time? Are they paying him for the extra time he takes to do these interviews and other things? He probably was busy and was annoyed, right? Like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And it is absolutely the NFLPA's right to deselect him. I don't know if he was fired. I mean, look, he's paid by the day, the job. I mean, if you don't want him to come back, he's not even firing him. There's no contract.
Is it you can't fire me, I quit?
Oh, maybe. But, you know.
Or like you said, he was already done.
He might have been,
yeah.
but also firing is a strong word.
Right.
Like, he's an at-will day-to-day guy. You just didn't
It
call
means
him.
nothing for them to terminate him and get another one.
I mean, okay, I'm not trying to belittle this, but you know, you get a plumber to come to your house, or you decided not to use a different plumber. I mean, I'm not calling him a plumber, but you get what I mean?
But that's the point of it. You're not tied to him for a whole season.
No, and you're not like calling your last plumber and saying, you're fired, I'm not calling you back.
So you're not losing value by getting the next guy. It's the same thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. But I don't know that this means that they did anything wrong yet, right? I mean, we'll see what the investigation says. And there's just a lot of inconsistencies. And I'm going to say something just to get it off my chest. You guys know I've said, let the UNC talk to a pool reporter. And the number one, like referee does, number one pushback is HIPAA, HIPAA, HIPAA. Let me get this very clear. I think Dr. Alan Sills, the chief medical officer, who is a neurosurgeon, has done a fantastic job of chief medical officer of the NFL. I have told him that. I have very high praise for him overall. Like, really good. I really respect him. However, he did an interview, and Dr. Sills, if you hear about this, please know I'm not criticizing you. I'm just pointing out the difficulties of all of these things. Judy Bautista asked him, tell us about Tua, tell us about what's happening. And he said, look, it's HIPAA, I can't tell you. But in general, this is the process and this is what you do. Great. I get it. Later in the interview, was Tua re-examined the rest of the week before he was cleared on Thursday? Yes. He was examined Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Isn't that HIPAA?
It's HIPAA for certain questions you don't want to answer.
That's a slip of the tongue. I'm not trying to parse words on him, but I'm just saying we see the need to get the word out. Maybe let the player say, I will release the information. You can talk. We talk about knees all the time. Cordarrelle Patterson got reported he's having knee surgery. Do you think he wants that out there? I mean, so we do that all the time. So it's just inconsistencies. And then we get into yesterday, Cameron Brate, he's out of the game for concussion, but he's standing on the sidelines. The rule is very explicit. If you're out, you're in the locker room.
Right.
You're not allowed to
He
stand.
took the big hit. He looked like he didn't know what sideline to go to. And then he makes it over the sideline, examine. He comes back in for a play or two, and then comes into the rule out.
And we talked about in the video that we made last night, but I'm telling you, this is another reason to have the UNC or someone talk. They'd be able to say, look, we examined him and he was clear. We looked at the video and we did not see obvious signs. We checked him. We thought he was okay. He went back into the game. As is required and normal, we recheck him the next series. We recheck him at halftime in the locker room. And we felt that he developed symptoms, or we were worried enough that we said, no, we can't bring him back in the game anymore. There's nothing nefarious about that. But that explanation might make the world happier to know the thinking of it. Look, we had this controversy in this room. I won't call out one of our guys in the command center, but he was going nuts on Romeo
Dobbs, yeah.
Dobbs and that touchdown, non-touchdown, the one that Matt LaFleur challenged. And we said, that's a bad challenge. And Matt LaFleur has since admitted that, says that he should have saved the timeout and the whole deal. Like it or not, the rule is control the catch through the ground.
Right.
So, yes, 2 steps, but when he hit the ground, it came out. That's the rule. Now, if the pool referee says that's the rule, then you can go hate on the rule.
I have a bit of good news. Ron Rivera just said Brian Robinson is medically cleared and will start his clock, the 3-week window, or to activate or leave him on FI. So that's really good news for his situation that happened.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we expected. Now, now it's just an acclimation process. Now, thankfully, I mean, that's great news, right?
Yes.
But that's what we've been saying all along. Once it avoided major arteries, nerves, and tendons and bone, I mean, like, if you're going to get shot, that was the best way to.
Yeah.
I mean, and so now it's just a matter of fitness and football readiness. He is a rookie.
He's a rookie, so he's
right?
got to learn the system a little bit. Yeah.
System and practicing and ready to be activated from just whenever he's ready from a team perspective.
We don't expect him to stay on NFI. We expect him to get within the 3 weeks. Which is good.
Thanks for getting me off of concussions. We don't want to do the whole show.
We could have a whole concussion podcast.
I hate
it's going to be a continuing topic.
I hate it.
We'll talk it through.
I hate it.
Well, let's get to some coach speak. First example, we got David Montgomery, high ankle sprain in week 3. Matt Eberflus all this week has been saying, he's day to day. We're going to see how if he can make it back to the practice field. That's good coaching, right?
Well, I mean, high ankle sprain, significant one with an MCL component too. We said in game, he's out. He's going to be out for a while. Now, he hasn't been put on IR yet, which is good, but maybe you hold David Montgomery for that. I mean,
Herbert's good though, the guy. So I mean, I would put him on IR, so let him rest. But they obviously have something else in store, right?
I don't know if you already have this on the list, but I'm going to add one to your coach speak thing. Does it qualify with coach speak if you're the owner?
Are you talking about
if you serve as the coach too? Yeah,
Dr. Jerry Jones.
Yep.
What did he say?
He's all of the above.
When Dak got injured, he's not going IR. We think he's going to come back before the IR stint and this, that, the other. What did he say last night after Cooper Rush went 3-0?
Yeah,
he's got to be able to grip and throw and make everything in regular setting. He's not really quite ready yet.
Because Cooper's good now. Cooper's good now.
It's like changed. The pressure changed.
Yeah.
Look, and he hasn't even talked about ball security when he gets sacked or hitting his thumb. I mean, you play his quote from yesterday versus the one from 3 weeks ago. It's a
Two
totally
different
tune. And that's okay. I mean,
well, he seems so happy. There's people thinking there's a QB controversy, right? Like he, the way he talks about his stuff, he gets so happy. It's
Jerry Jones loves the team to be talked about,
right?
Yeah,
and they're being talked about.
No one's talking about the loss of Tyron Smith now. So
yeah, I mean, look, Jerry's in the Hall of Fame. Jerry's a billionaire. I mean, I'm not hating on Jerry. I mean,
he's done well, whatever he's done.
It works.
Yeah. Look, Jerry, if you want to become a doctor and I can trade spot, I'll trade you. Okay. Anytime you want.
Yeah.
So not hating on him at all.
Well, another legend. Personally, I love the gamesmanship of Bill Belichick and Mac Jones going back and forth by day. I think, what did he say? 15 times in that press conference?
Look, I mean, wait a minute. You went from getting second opinions and potentially thinking about surgery to day to day, and they made him stand at practice. I mean, I couldn't help myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not very athletic now. I'm old and I can't move. My back hurts and the whole thing. But I could have moved better than Mac Jones that day standing there at practice. I mean, obviously he was ruled out day to day.
Your theory is funny. You just say what you think happened. Yeah.
Honestly, what does Bill normally do? We follow all the coach speak. He normally says nothing. Normally says his status will be on the injury report.
Yep, very simple.
We'll let you know when he's practicing and ready to go. Very simple. Like he just says nothing, and it's almost like he took great joy in saying day to day.
He invited the interaction. Yeah.
Was he mocking Mac Jones?
I think so.
Like you said, I like it because now that he switched his whole second opinion to, I'll be right there. That ties in the,
I mean, it was interesting.
It's like your dad yelling at you. It looks
look,
like he's like,
we've told Bill Belichick stories before,
right?
David Bin, where's Pam Anderson?
The Pam story, of course. Yes.
Why do you think we invited you to the Pro Bowl? I mean, that whole
he's a personality. Yeah.
He's got his sarcastic humor. And look, he tells players, this is what he tells players. Other players have told me this. You can talk about yourself. Don't talk about anybody else. Don't talk about injuries. That's his rule. So he doesn't tell you not to speak. He just doesn't want, I think he doesn't want the offense talking about the defense. He wants Mac Jones to talk about Mac Jones. Don't talk about anybody else, and don't talk about injuries. But people get afraid. They don't want to say anything. And then Mac Jones kind of got caught, and he started with day-to-day, and they went with the cliche day-to-day. So I think he was giving him the business.
I like it. Just so we have on record, any chance for Mac Jones against the Lions this week?
Look, any chance? I mean, Mac Jones is not fleet of foot. If you say
Never was, yeah.
never was
Yeah.
when he was healthy, right?
yeah.
I mean, look, my guy Phillip Rivers played through a really bad turf toe in his very last season with the Colts. One where he didn't practice all week, but they put him in the game, including playoffs, as a statue because he was going to try and get it done.
Your ACL thing with him, statue, that's why it worked, right?
Yeah. And so is it impossible? No. Can he be his normal self with the ankle? No, not this week. So I don't see it happening. I mean,
what about their record? They're 1-3. I would argue that they probably weren't going to be winning a lot this year, maybe. So maybe I don't think they force him because of the record. But
I know Taylor likes Bailey Zappi.
I do.
Is it Zapp or Zappy? Did we figure that out?
We heard both. And when I watched college games, I heard Zapp. So
Jim Nance does his homework.
Explained how it's very important for the announcers.
It's very important.
It made me think Nance over Romo. Nance is spending the time more than Romo, maybe. But
I mean, they have pronunciation charts and phonetic spellings, and I mean that's a very key thing.
We'll have to get the media guide from that New England.
I just know I watched Western Kentucky, but I don't know how many people did that. But they said Zapp there. So
I mean, look. I mean, it took me a while. I avoided Lewis Sign's last name because I didn't want to say it wrong.
It was seen for me until I watched Georgia. I agree. I didn't know.
Okay, I mean, I don't know. I'm just making sure, right? I'm not trying to disrespect anybody. But yeah, no, it's an interesting point there.
Yeah.
Well, since we're talking college, biggest storyline in college this week, Bryce Young's right shoulder injury. Jalen Milroe came in, did pretty well, got him the win.
He's a good player, good freshman, yeah.
I mean, they got 1,000,000 5-stars there.
Yes.
Nick Saban, after the game, said AC sprained shoulder, I think was the exact quote that he used.
Yeah, I don't know that we agree with that. Maybe more Mitch Trubisky type shoulder subluxation. If it's an AC sprain, I mean, the Alabama docs are good. They're pretty aggressive. They would have put some medicine in that AC joint and got him back in. Of course, maybe the kid didn't want to, and which is his prerogative. But I'm not. Look, there's coach speak in college too.
I don't know that we follow Saban every week as we do the NFL coaches, so we don't know 100% of his personality and if
reporting
he likes to play games with that.
And he may be saying that to protect the kid too, because he's a top draft pick potentially.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
Yes.
NFL teams will worry a lot more about a shoulder subluxation and potential labral issue on throwing shoulder than an AC joint.
Okay.
John Elway played with old chronic AC joint sprains most of his career on his throwing shoulder. So I think it's, if anything, he's helping the kid there.
Okay.
A little bit out of coach speak. Let's go with Tom Brady speak. He had the shoulder injury a little bit on the fumble from last night's game Sunday night against the Chiefs. And then he tweeted this morning. I don't remember the exact tweet. Maybe Taylor can chime in, but he was saying that he needs the TB12 treatment on it and always plugging it. And yeah, I just found that hilarious. So he wouldn't acknowledge his shoulder injury during the game. I mean, everyone saw him throwing on the sideline, keep it warm, like you said, Doc.
He said time for a little TB12 sports on the shoulder and a few hours of game film.
And an avocado ice cream.
Absolutely. That's part of it. That's TB12. I think it's built in that.
Yeah. That's fine. I mean, look,
I just know we're going to get questions about it all week, Doc. So I want it handled here.
Okay. He was about to throw. He gets hit and then, jerk on the shoulder. He could have strained his cuff. That's why I say stay warm. I don't think it's a tear. I don't think it's horrible. I wouldn't be shocked if it swells and he misses a little bit of practice. Heck, maybe it's an excuse to.
Is he going to miss the? I was going to say, is he going to miss the next Giselle outing? That's what I.
No. He's playing on Sunday. I mean, come on.
He played through it last night.
And you're going to be fine. I mean, he doesn't need to practice. And
you said there might be some accuracy issues. Was that mid game on KC, or is that going into next game?
I don't think we're going to see a lot different.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, his 6 score will maybe drop a point or two. Nothing really significant, I don't think.
Last coach speak I had, and then we'll get to the other serious injuries affecting week 5. But Mike Vrabel said he wasn't sure how long Treylon Burks is going to be out with his foot injury. And then a minute later, I got to update that Treylon Burks turf toe. So maybe he's not lying. He doesn't know how long the turf toe is going to last.
Maybe he's not lying. Maybe I mean, is it 3 weeks or 4 weeks? He doesn't know, right? Is it 4 weeks or 5
But
weeks?
he's not giving
He
that
doesn't
timetable
know.
himself. Yeah.
No, I mean, look, turf toe is better than Liz Frank, but you do need, I mean, over 50% of your push-off power is through your great toe in your foot. So if you need to run, jump, and cut, you need your great toe. So that's why it's going to be a significant injury. No surgery, but it's just a matter of soreness and how long before he's effective. I'd share a Sergeant Hulka analogy, but you guys don't even know what. Too young to know
You
what
should ask
stripes
Justin.
Whatever our
Just
head.
dude, you try Justin.
Justin, you know
knows
what? You know this. What I'm talking about, Sergeant Hulka and the big toe.
I've got no idea what you're talking about.
Go for 3. I was trying. I wanted you to get at least one.
All those movies back there, Justin, Stripes and all
Yeah.
that.
Not that one. Not that one.
You guys have never seen Stripes.
I've heard of
I-
it though. That's but I have not seen it.
I've seen Meatballs.
I don't even know. That's not Meatballs is weak. I mean, Stripes is all time. I mean, come
That's
on.
a good movie I've heard. I just
It's on our viewing list this week. We'll get back to you. We'll do our homework,
Look,
our film study.
if you guys tell me and I'm watching Netflix stuff,
right.
okay, I haven't watched Game of Thrones, okay, whatever. So maybe not that with it, but then you guys have to watch some of these. I mean, Animal House.
Seen that?
Yeah.
No, I've seen
Okay.
that.
Animal House. Stripes is close to Animal House. Blues Brothers.
Yeah, of course.
Seen that.
If you ask people all-time great, I'll bet you. I mean,
That's a high to Bill Murray, so I get it.
Stripes, you know, genre-wise, might be on the Mount Rushmore
It's a cult classic, right?
of Animal House and
Right.
Blues Brothers and Stripes and I don't know.
Just
Whatever.
For everybody listening right now, if you want to watch this movie, apparently it's on.
Well, it's on. I was just looking. It's on Hulu,
Yeah,
and
watch it on Hulu right now.
yeah, it's there.
All right,
I got Taylor's login, so there
yeah,
we
I
go.
was about to say you do have my log. You can watch Hulu.
Feel like we're Bill Simmons now. You
I
know,
know.
talking about culture
Yeah.
and pop
Well,
culture.
Justin has his own.
movies and-
He has
It
a
all ties
movie
together.
podcast himself. That's his rogue thing he does too. So
Wait, you have a movie podcasting, Justin,
Yeah.
and you've never seen Stripes.
that's why I
Yeah,
asked
okay,
him.
So listen,
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of movies, but no, I don't. Behind me, I have over 500 Blu-rays.
Yeah, that's
and
why I thought he
DVDs,
might
but
have. Yeah.
I don't have Stripes. No, that's my.
I'm gonna revoke your movie credentials. You've never seen Stripes. That's like really, really, really bad.
I
will
thought he
give it a
might
watch,
help
though.
you out
I'll
there.
give it a watch, and I'll get back to you specifically.
All right, okay. I'm gonna ask you another
That's a film
old
study.
one. Okay, I think the answer is gonna be not a chance on this one. You guys ever seen It's a Wonderful Life?
I've
Oh,
seen that.
that's-
That's for Christmas.
That's my
though,
parents'
only.
favorite movie. We
Yeah.
watch it every year for
So you
Christmas.
do.
So
Yeah.
yes.
But if my parents didn't, yeah, I would never see that. It's not
Right,
something I would
oh,
ever
for
watch.
sure.
Yeah,
I wouldn't. If no one else put me onto that, or if it wasn't. Just
So you've seen It's a Wonderful Life, but you haven't seen Stripes?
Stripes just
That's-
hasn't come up. It hasn't just hasn't crossed my desk.
If Stripes was a Christmas movie, I would definitely
Yeah,
have
no,
seen
for
it.
sure.
None of our friends have talked about Stripes, and It's a Wonderful Life.
My
But
dad-
we got it from our parents, and it's
My
Wonderful
dad's a
Life.
huge Bill Murray movie, so I feel like I've seen it like in the womb or something.
It made its way to
Yeah.
you.
You know what? We're going way off the rails
Yes,
here.
yes.
Okay.
Sergeant Hulk.
my
had his fault,
my
yeah.
my I have a tie to It's a Wonderful Life
Okay.
indirectly. My probably greatest, I don't know if this is official or not, unofficially. So It's a Wonderful Life was filmed at my high school.
Really?
Wow.
What's the big scene in It's a Wonderful Life? The sock hop dance.
Right.
Okay.
When
With the pool underneath.
with the
yep.
pool
Yep,
underneath.
yep.
That's my high school swim gym.
And you were a swim all star. Saying
I mean,
you know the pool well.
Taylor
Yeah,
facts.
sorry.
No. My claim to fame in athletics, and it's not fame. I mean, I played 3 sports in the same swim gym facility. Pretty hard to do.
That's tough.
Yeah, that is. That's-
Okay.
That's cool.
So I played water polo, I swam, and I played basketball. So
Okay,
my
there you go.
entire
Yeah.
high school sporting career was in the swim gym. And one of my best workouts always was every now, like that pool would open up and all the visiting teams would come and they'd stare at the opening
Yeah,
or the
yeah.
closing
Yeah.
and whatever.
The bulkhead. I've seen one. Yeah.
And occasionally one side would break. That was best swim workouts ever because there's room underneath to swim underneath. So you
Yeah.
can still swim.
I had one in my high school. You'd swim
Right,
to the
you swim
bulkhead.
underneath,
Yep,
right?
Yep, absolutely.
Except I might stop halfway and wait for the circle to come back. I'm keeping up today. I got the good 100 repeat, 10 by 100s. I'm doing good today. The coaches, can't see underneath there. So, anyways, so sidetrack.
Yes. All right, I'll pull us back with the Thursday night football game. Big injuries going in on both teams, both sides of the ball. Javonte Williams, the ACL tear, got confirmed this morning. LCL damage as well.
Javonte Williams, let me tell you, that is a Carson Wentz injury. ACL and LCL, more than an ACL. That's one to watch. And you can't say, it was week 4. He's ready to start the season. There's more to that one.
Well, do you remember the Wentz thing too? I remember you said they might have rushed him back early, and then that back injury might have been a slight.
You're just trying to get me in trouble here. I mean, no, I said there's no way he was ready for week 1, and he wasn't. Then they came back, and then he developed that low back, but maybe he wasn't stepping into throws, and it flared out. I'm not trying to point fingers at anybody, but
been around too long. I know what you said when.
That's a big impact. We'll give a shameless plug to our fantasy podcast. We'll talk about whether to pick up Mike Boone, Melvin Gordon, who's running that running back room, but Randy Gregory is the other one that we were waiting on MRI news.
Let's hope just a bone bruise. So he's not playing Thursday. Let's hope he can avoid ACL. Shaq Leonard. So for the Thursday game, you've got the 2 top running backs.
Taylor and Williams.
Jonathan Taylor with the high ankle and
turf toe.
Mild turf toe. If it were a regular week, maybe, but a Thursday, I don't think he's going to make it. And then Shaquille Leonard already ruled out
concussion. Yep.
First came back from back surgery and he gets concussed. That's rough.
He didn't look good though, Doc. Remember you said he was going to have issues going side to side. That's the kind of player he is. He was getting beat a lot of the time on crossing routes. So
and that's another one. It's an early rule out.
Yep.
Let's just not talk about it. He's not going to be there for Thursday.
Is this something we might be expecting in the near, like Hoyer? Are we expecting Hoyer later today?
Well, look, who knows? Maybe there's messaging from the league that says, let's not play games this week.
Right.
I mean,
not a 50-50 shot. Just roll them out.
Let's not do coach speak this. And then tonight's game, Rams have some offensive line issues. Both guards and centers, original starters.
Correct.
They have number 2 and number 3 corner groin. For San Francisco, Kittle's going to be healthier. Jimmy Ward out.
Trent Williams is a huge one.
Trent was a big one. The linebacker.
Mitchell's been out for a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Daniel Jones. I know you made a video. They're traveling to London. You talked about Tyrod Taylor a little bit. What's the chances of Daniel Jones being under center this week? I think the third string's Davis Webb, Taylor?
Yeah. That's a lot of Davises now.
There's a lot of Davises.
Your son, you got Davis Mills, and then you got Davis Webb. That's more Davises I thought were in the world. I thought it was just your son. But yeah.
Whatever. I don't see how he plays. I mean,
they said day to day today. Yeah, no, you don't. Yeah.
He's got a high ankle sprain.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a mobile quarterback.
Left ankle. Yeah.
Do you really want Daniel Jones starting if he isn't mobile?
If he's just a pocket passer? No.
I mean, you saw how he limped and he finished the game. Usually you're more sore the day after. I don't see how he plays. He's just not that kind of guy. And I'm sure the Giants would feel very poorly if he ended up getting hurt as a result of it because he couldn't escape pressure. I just don't see it. I mean, day to day, good, leave hope alive. I mean, if you ask me who's more likely to play this week, I think it's Davis Webb for the Giants. Still early. It's early Monday. Tyrod's got to clear that concussion. We talked about.
I do have something to add. He had a high ankle sprain in 2019. He missed 2 games after that. So I don't know if it's the same. Obviously not the same, type of ankle. Maybe we don't know the severity.
And don't get fooled. He, quote, finished the game, handing the ball off, limping. I mean, yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
And if he does, then I hope there's some rushing props on him.
Because it's going to be higher. He had 2 touchdowns over, 60 plus last couple.
Keep that secret.
Yeah.
Well, the other New York team's got some issues too on the offensive line. Max Mitchell, the patella subluxation, left knee. So that's the inside knee for right tackle. How's that going to affect their line situation going forward? I mean, they had Becton with a similar injury.
They went into the game with right tackle 3 and left tackle 3. Now they're down to right tackle 4. They're saying good news because it wasn't patella tendon and it's not season ending, but it was a patella subluxation dislocation. That's similar to what Mekhi Becton had. And one of the reasons Mekhi Becton was moved to the right side is because it was his right knee inside leg at left tackle where he needed to push out, and it put that knee more at risk. Well, Max Mitchell, this is on his left knee. That's putting his knee at risk. I think this is a bigger deal than early reports. He's going to miss some time, and it would not surprise me if it ended up being the season. That's why we downgraded Mekhi Becton to start the year. Yes, I know weight issues and what have you, but in early practice,
it was a leg. It was
he didn't not making it. But Max Mitchell might have a harder time because it's his inside leg here with the patella dislocation. So I'm not as optimistic there.
Zach Wilson got the win in his return, 18 of 36 for 252 yards. But that's a lot for a second-year quarterback to be dealing with. Left tackle and right tackle out.
That's why we went with his rushing yards with our sick picks. Yeah,
he's giving it all away, Doc.
It already happened. I couldn't.
Yeah,
I bit my tongue.
What about this week?
No.
Keep the line down. Yeah.
No, we were just saying based on his knee's healthy, he can run, and with the tackle issues, he's going to have to scramble a couple times. He scrambled 2 times. His prop was 8.5 and it ended at 9.5.
Right.
But he got 15 yards. I mean, whatever. I mean, that was cherry picking something based on the injuries.
Right.
Just a couple more matchups I'm looking at, and then we'll get to Beast of the Week. Bills wide receiver depth is going to be interesting with Jamison Crowder out. Isaiah McKenzie also left with a concussion. We'll see his status for the week if he's an early rollout too. They get the Steelers. Bills defense already reeling a little bit. They might have Xavier Rhodes. Who knows about that hamstring?
Yeah, I don't think that
off the street hamstring.
Yeah, I think that's going to be tough. Xavier Rhodes. Gabe Davis should be healthier though. I mean, he wasn't himself this week because he re-injured it in practice, but with no re-injury setback, he'll be healthier. Stephon Diggs is still there.
Right.
Browns' Chargers is also an interesting one. Browns pass rush. We'll see if they get a little bit healthier with Jadeveon Clowney, the inversion ankle sprain basketball type, and then Myles Garrett coming back from the car crash.
There's no guarantee Myles Garrett makes it back. I mean,
I think there was a Schefter report kind of optimistic for week 5, but he also said AC joint sprain. He named the shoulder sprain, so that's an interesting one for a pass rusher.
Yeah, you can inject it and play, but I mean, this week he has a chance, but I'm just saying there's no guarantee.
Yeah, he said we'll know more on Wednesday. He just said it's optimistic.
This week 4 was not happening, right? We talked about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
you just kept on saying simplistically, like, look at the car. And you expecting him to go out and get 2 sacks and like 4 tackles? Like, I know he's an elite player, but I mean, come on.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
We'll stay tuned to sixscore.com. We'll have the latest on DeAndre Swift, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, all the wide receiver situation for the Lions as well.
I mean, do they need him? They put up how many points they put up?
Don't remind me.
I know we don't have rights or wrong this week, but we have one Taylor wrong, and that was the under in that game.
I didn't expect that, but apparently they've scored the most points in history in the last 4 weeks, Lions. So I guess I need to look at more stats before doing stuff. But
expecting that's a correct eventually
expect better out of me, I guess. Yeah.
I know you're anti Jared Goff and Justin's pro Jared Goff, so that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
I'm pro Geno Smith. Just want that on record.
No,
you're the first one up pro Geno Smith. You brought me over to the Geno Smith train.
Well, and I was looking at it today. They gave up 8, or not 8, but they gave up so many first rounders for a QB downgrade. I know it's just 4 weeks, but I mean, it looks like that right now. I know, Doc. We're going to our fantasy podcast there. Sorry.
I know.
We'll jump to the Beast of the Week. I think the first one we got is an MMA fighter going to his corner, and then
this is Doc's one. This is a good one. I agree with this.
Brought to our attention. I don't even know the name of the MMA fighter. Maybe we can add that later. But
do you have any idea who that dude is that's yanking on his arm? I mean, yanking hard.
Is that the trainer? Is that his coach?
It's always like his brothers. It's always like a family. I don't know. They always keep their knit close.
I don't know. Yanking on his left shoulder, trying to put it back in or something. It's like, and people were asking me on Twitter, is this how you do it? I said, I mean,
I was going to ask you, is he doing it? Like, is it close?
No, I do know people. I mean, especially if it's come in and out a bunch, the more effective way is for the fighter to grab the cage and let his own body weight pull on the thing. I've seen that before. But yeah, that was pretty.
Don't try this at home. Just disclaimer.
I mean, if Justin's showing the video here, I don't know who the beast is. The guy yanking on the arm, or the athlete for letting him yank on his arm.
Right.
that was like that's like a tug of war match. I mean, it was pretty violent.
Is he making it worse there?
No, but here's the
It's
thing.
not making it better. Definitely.
I'll let you in a secret. To reduce a joint, I don't care how hard you pull. If you're fighting against the muscle forces, it stays out. You got to get him to relax.
It's got to be the right angle.
Back.
Yeah.
I mean, a little more finesse, I suppose. So it's not how hard you throw a football; it's where you put it and the timing.
The other one we have is Garrett Bowles on the Denver O lineman on the chase down the pick six.
Justin,
Aaron Pico is the guy's name, by the way.
Aaron Pico.
You got to show this one, Justin. If you haven't seen it, go to our Twitter timeline or see this podcast at YouTube. Pick six, Garrett Bowles, left tackle, Denver, trying to chase down the guy. Give him credit. He gets in the frame.
He's the only guy in the frame. Guy there. Yeah.
He gets in the frame. I mean, and to make it look good, he dies from about the 6-7 yard line as the guy's about to score.
Yeah, 6'5". Yeah.
I mean, wasn't close. I mean, if it were flag football, not only would he not grabbed his flag, he wouldn't have sniffed the flag. I mean, and he was trying to attack. And the best is his wife. Yeah. What did she say?
I'd be lying if I said I didn't die laughing. Good effort, though, babe.
She's entitled. Yep. She's entitled to make fun of him. Good effort. That'll get played over and over again today in the Broncos.
Absolutely. Yep. Do you think the Raiders guy even knew he was behind him?
I don't think he did at all watching the replay. Yeah.
No,
it's not like they do the high step if someone's diving at your ankles. He was already planning the celebration.
Yep.
So I would say the beast is maybe the UFC fighter for letting the guy yank on him. The beast is Garrett Bowles' wife for posting that.
Right.
But you know what? I got to go back to Lewis Sign. I mean, his ankle just explodes. And I mean, if you looked at what reaction was there, he was very straightforward.
He's a tough kid.
I mean, almost like, okay, I sprained my ankle. I mean, if you look at this video, warning, his ankle explodes when he hits the turf. And you think it was kind of nothing, the way that he reacted. So I got to give it to him, and having surgery in a foreign country.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to add that. That's a key part.
They got to leave some personnel behind with him, right, Doc? They're not making him fly back on his own.
Middle seat on Southwest. No, just kidding. Well, first of all, I don't know the reports, but typically the London teams don't. It's the only time you don't leave right there and then. Well, Super Bowls too, but you don't leave immediately from the game. And they usually stay and then leave, the next day. I don't know if that's changed.
They said he will remain in London for a while.
So he probably will remain.
Some of the members of the organization will stay back with him.
Usually it's an athletic trainer with the short straw.
Okay.
It won't be the head. It won't be number
much
2.
Of a short straw. You get the extra couple days in London.
Well,
sitting by a hospital bed.
Yeah, true. You're not going out and seeing the town. Yeah.
This coming from the guy who defers to his girlfriend.
To drive. Right?
Well, no. I mean, all of a sudden, sorry, hon, I'm not coming home for 3 days. I mean, and usually we've had it happen before. When we played in Australia, when left a guy behind kind of deal, and left one of the athletic trainers behind. That happens. We've done that before. Just so that you have some with them, and then they get flown back.
Right.
Hopefully he'll be able to fly back regular commercial. I mean, they can medevac him back too, but hopefully he won't need that.
And the guy hopefully is single, you're saying, because I wouldn't be able to do the whole I'm going to be back in 3 days thing. I know that you're right on that. So they have to leave the single trainer there.
Did you get married? I didn't know that.
Close.
Close. Close doesn't cut it. We'll ask her.
Yeah.
Very true.
All right. Anything else we got today? We went a little off the rails today, but having some fun here. It's all good. Hopefully some good information for everybody too. Anything we didn't hit? I mean, we got baseball around the corner.
Baseball playoffs.
Yeah, Padres are in. Okay.
They got in with the loss.
Okay. Gripe time here.
Mm-hmm.
WTF. The Padres are in the playoffs.
Correct.
They make the wild card. Already arranged to try and buy some tickets, but they're no home game in the entire first round.
That's
Yep.
crazy.
I don't know.
It's
I
new.
I get what they're trying to do. Less travel. They want a Friday, Saturday, Sunday game.
You can't get one game.
Can't get one game. I mean, you can't say the first two on the road and the final one at home. So this 1-1-1 thing, the entire series, no game, no home game.
I gotta say that. So I did season tickets for the first time because a buddy convinced me, and you get pre-sale access to playoff tickets. And when I looked, I didn't realize that the wild card series was on the road. So I bought for one game, the second game in the division round, but I'm not optimistic because they look like they're getting the Mets.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be such a downer. I mean, people in San Diego are excited about the Padres.
I'm sure a lot of people are in the same boat as
San
me.
Diego to New York that's a tough travel though, right? Maybe
No, I get it's a tough travel. I mean,
it's 3,000 plus.
what it really comes down to is you decided to make it a 3-game series so that you didn't wait. And so
it's like college in a way.
All
That's what the we'll see.
being the Padres fan, if I were the Padres, you never want to tank and lose games.
Unless I have
Phillies already took care of that.
My team did that. Oh, my team did that.
They almost tanked out of the
Yeah.
playoffs.
Now that they're in the wild card, would you rather play the Mets or Braves or the Cardinals?
Cardinals, 100%.
So the 6th seed plays
Gets
the
a better
Cardinals.
matchup.
The
Yeah.
Padres in the 5th seed. Start setting your rotation.
Yeah.
Rest you, Darvish. Set him up. Blake Snell, if you're pitching Musgrove, whatever you're going to do,
Yeah.
Clevenger, the bullpen. Start setting your pitchers
They play
up
the Giants.
for
It's good for our win total.
Yeah.
for success in the wild card round. Because do you care if you end up in 6th? You might be happier.
Yep.
Start setting your rotations.
They might have a long way to go to 6. The Phillies are scraping.
Yeah. But I bring up baseball because we do have baseball docs on here. I've had the cup of coffee with the Cubs and the Twins.
We'll have some playoff coverage.
We'll
as well.
have some
Yeah.
playoff coverage from a injury perspective. Diamond views for playoffs. We've had that throughout the season, but look for that this next week as well. All right. Thanks for watching, listening. Pro Football Doc Podcast here. Go watch Stripes if you haven't. And let me know what your rating is. That's your homework.
No,
We gotta-
I'm
film
100%
study, yeah.
going to do that. Yes, I will do that.
Anyways, thanks for listening. And more info this week, Sports Injury Central. And trust me, go to the 6 Score tab, go to players before setting your fantasy lineup. Make sure if you're deciding between 2 running backs, it would behoove you to look at the health of the offensive line or the health of the front 7 that you're playing against that week before you make your final decisions. Or if you have a tight end or a wide receiver, the pass defense health, it will help you not only with DFS, but basic fantasy decisions. And it's a quick way to look at it all with the field views there. Thanks for listening and watching, and we'll catch you next week and throughout this week.